Well, hello, my friends. It is September 6th, 2020, as I am recording this, and what a year it's been. I sincerely hope that you and your loved ones are healthy and well, and that you have some hope for brighter days ahead as we together make our way through this crazy, crazy time. And some of you have been following along on my journey of creating the life I want for years, since I first began talking about being an adult child of an alcoholic, and I am so grateful for all of the people I've met along the way who have shared their words and their stories. It's just been an amazing, amazing journey. If you're in a difficult spot in life right now, if you're going through difficult times, please take my life as proof that sometimes life can turn around and become something that you can't even imagine today. You will get through this difficult time, and there will come a time when you look back in which you can't even recognize the life that you once had. About 10 years ago, just over 10 years ago, I was at a point in my adult life in which I could not fathom a time in which I wasn't completely blanketed in fear and worry about my mother's drinking. I couldn't imagine a time or a life that I'm living right now. I just couldn't. So my message to you, if you're in this sort of hopeless state, if you ever find yourself in that position, please look at me and the millions of others who've been through extremely difficult times, who've turned things around and can't recognize themselves in that point. You can build a life that you cannot imagine today. In 2016, I posted a video and a blog post detailing my whole story. The story of me coping with the effects of my mother's alcoholism and the effects that it had on my mother, my father, and my sister. And I was so amazed to see so many comments and posts inspired by that video that really went a long way in helping other people. Thank you so much to everyone who decided to share their story as a result of hearing my story. And as it's always been, it is incredibly bittersweet to know that we all share a variation of the same story. So now, here we are 4 years later, and many of you have asked the question, how are you today? How is your sister? And how is your mother doing? And I am so happy to report that we are all doing well. Okay, so after 2016, which was still kind of a difficult time for me, I went right into 2017 with a really good mindset, with a focus on taking good care of me through more self-care and focus on just simply doing things that I wanted to do. So that meant that I had to double down on my boundary setting with family, even old friends, coworkers, in order to give enough time to prioritize the things that I love to do. So 2017 gave me that focus so that I had time to do more reading and writing and exercise and other things to help me be a healthier person, to set me on the path for continuing to build the life that I want. That year I also got a new job and bought my own house. So I had a lot of things focused on me that were really good. And in 2017, I was 34 years old, I think. And it's amazing. But I think that was the year, even though I'd been making great progress and on the right path for several years before that, I think that was really the year that I finally had my own life. And what I mean by that is the rest of my life had really been one big, giant, messy life with my family. My mother, father, and sister and me all shared the same big, messy life. And it wasn't until that 2017 where I felt like I really had a normal, single life that was focused on me. That year in my very first house, I focused on creating new memories. You may have seen the video I posted about learning how to like the holidays and to enjoy spending time in the kitchen. Things that had historically not been pleasant for me because of my past experiences became pleasant, and I was set on creating new memories. And that year really kind of set the right next step for 2018 and 2019, and I've been just continuing to build upon those great focuses on self-care and continuing to do the things that I want to do and setting goals for the things that I want to do. Now, all this upbeatness is completely accurate, but I would be dishonest if I didn't share with you that, of course, I still have tons of adult child of an alcoholic traits present in which I actively have to work on them. For example, anxiety. I battle this on a daily basis. Fortunately, I've learned skills and ways to manage my anxiety or prevent it in many ways, but it's still there, and it will be a lifelong effort for me to control that jerk known as anxiety. And the list goes on with trust issues and the fact that I often pour way too much of myself into my work with a little bit of workaholic tendencies. All of that is still there, and I'll continue on this journey of working through it and teaching myself new ways of managing it. The key I have learned throughout my life is very simple, and it guides my daily life every day. It guides my decision making and steers me onto the right path when I start to veer off, which happens regularly. And that is, your only job in life is to take good care of you. That's it. Just you. And this seems like a very simple, kind of obvious statement for those who did not grow up and live in dysfunction. But for those of us who did, it is a foreign concept in practice. And it takes many, many years of repeated learnings and reprogramming of your brain to really understand what that means, what it looks like to take good care of you. And I know that as much progress as I've made over these last several years, this is a lifelong journey. And I'm so grateful for that. I will always be reading books and listening to podcasts and watching videos and surrounding myself with positive, encouraging people who inspire me with their words and their stories. Because we are evolving as people, and while we make great progress, there's always more that can be done. And I so look forward to the next several years of my life as I continue on this journey. It's the tiny changes, the small boundary setting that you make every day, the decision not to do something, that end up making the biggest impact over time. So what is my day-to-day life like today? I have a quiet life with my cat Larry, who is awesome. I have a great job in healthcare where I work in communications, and it's been a little bit crazy through all of this COVID madness, but it's been very, very meaningful for me. So I've appreciated the opportunity to work in the field that I work in right now, and I've grown a lot and had a lot of opportunities. I'm still very focused on self-care, trying to get enough sleep and exercise and doing new things. Recently, for whatever reason, I decided to rekindle my love of putt-putt golf, which is awesome. If you haven't been putt-putt golfing, go putt-putt golfing. It's incredibly fun. I stink at it, but I have so much fun. And of course, I am still quite obsessed with self-improvement books and eating up everything I can on the adult child of an alcoholic and dysfunctional environment front. There's just so much amazing information out there being produced by new up-and-coming people on a regular basis. It's almost hard to keep up with, and that is a great problem to have. Also in my free time, I have been spending more and more time immersed in my love of comedies and stand-up comedy. I have always loved it ever since I was a little girl. I've also been spending time with people who love to laugh like me, who share similar interests and encourage me, who are ambitious and who are on the same path. Okay, so there's enough of an update about my life. Now let's get off of the uncomfortable topic of me and talk about my awesome, amazing, extraordinary sister, Brooke. Brooke is working full-time and has for the last several years while going to school and finishing her degree, and I know that she's going to continue to impact the world in a very, very positive way, and partly due to our life experiences. She has a level of compassion and wisdom that most people her age or at all have, and I'm very grateful for her. Love you, Brooke. In 2012, I put in my middle grade novel for tweens, Easter and Peter's Operation Cool, that the book was dedicated to Brooke, my guardian angel in little sister disguise. And my friends, that she remains. I am so proud of the young lady that she has grown into. She is fun and kind, extraordinarily kind and funny and with it, and a total health guru. She's so knowledgeable about healthy living and eating and exercising, and I'm so proud, and she makes me look like I don't know what I'm doing. And we have such a great relationship. We talk every day. We're very much laughing sisters, and she seems to have fewer adult child of an alcoholic traits than I do, which I'm really glad about. All right, and let's talk about my mother. I'm going to say these words slowly because I never thought that I would utter them. I have a very healthy, good relationship with my mother. This healthy relationship has enabled me to continue focusing on the good human being that she is and her very good qualities and how she has succeeded in many ways as a mother. If I didn't get into a healthy spot, if I didn't go through the process of forgiving her and forgiving myself for everything that the addiction and the effects of it caused on our family, we would not be in this position today. And so I am so incredibly grateful to be able to share that update with you, that she's doing so well, that she has a full-time job and she is very beloved at that job, and that she's able to contribute to the world in a meaningful way. But she continues to astound me. In 2014, after my father passed away, I was convinced that she wouldn't survive it. And the weight of worry of that was almost impossible for me to bear. But now, I'm so proud of how she's been able to live so independently, and she still has her lifestyle. She still drinks. I think it's every day. I'm really not sure, nor do I really care, because I've set these very healthy boundaries with her. I won't answer the phone when she's been drinking, and when we talk, it's a very meaningful conversation. It's much more of a normal mother and daughter check-in call. And it is very important to note that my mother has not changed substantially over these years, or even since 2016. I have changed, and that is what has made all the difference. The reality is that my relationship with my mother improved the day that I started to get educated about addiction. The day that I went to the library and read those books and understood that what my mother was going through was much bigger than her deciding whether or not to drink that day. That addiction was not about whether she loved me enough to stop drinking. I can't imagine where any of us would be if I didn't take the time to get educated, to focus on myself. I just actually don't want to even think about it. That being said, I will always have great sadness in my heart that I could not successfully get my mom to accept help. I will always feel great sadness in my heart, and I will always worry about her safety. But I have reached this very healthy point in my life in which I am so far away from that burning glass room, which is my analogy for addiction, that I can breathe clearly, I can think clearly, I can live in a healthy way. And I know my mother is also grateful for that. If you found this video helpful or you think someone else might find it helpful, please give it a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And I am starting to post more regularly on jodylam.com with more information there. Thank you so much for following along. I am truly, truly grateful and so inspired by all of you. Thank you.